social responsibility. And tomorrow, a group of cyclists begins a ride from Sydney to Melbourne. Berrick Wilson is the founder of the charity ride and he joins us now. Berrick Wilson, good morning.
Good morning.
This ride aims to raise money for a terrific venture, but it begins with a very worrying story. Tell us about your daughter.
Yes, it did. Look, it started back in 2006 when we had our first child, and Miller unfortunately had a brain hemorrhage at just 2 days old. And she was rushed. We were in hospital at the time, and they called an ambulance and rushed us to another hospital because that's where they had the neonatal intensive care unit. Fortunately, Miller has recovered fully, but the experience really led me to think that there must be something that I can do to make a difference.
And this bike ride, as a result, has gone from strength to strength over the years, hasn't it?
It has. I'm really fortunate in that the industries that we target, which is predominantly sort of property, banking and finance and legal, have got right behind the event. And yes, it's taken off from what was just an idea to this is now our fifth event.
So how many riders in the group?
42, 7 teams of 6 people each. And all been training for the last 3 to 4 months to get themselves ready enough to be able to do 1,200 kilometres in just 7 days.
How do you do the stops along the way?
It depends on how we're feeling, but we typically stop at various towns along the way and overnight each place.
Right.
But the stops
So
in between.
Stay at a local pub or something? Or?
Yeah, a range of different hotels along the way. There's quite a lot of planning that goes into it. There's at least 6 months of planning that goes into it along the way. Yes.
And as well as raising money, as you mentioned, it's a great opportunity for lycra-clad networking for business leaders.
Absolutely, it is. Look, this is one opportunity where people really get to know each other, both in the 4 months of training leading up to it, but then doing an event that is very much a bonding experience along the way. So a huge opportunity, I think, for people to really get to know each other in tough times.
And cutting deals halfway down the queue, potentially.
Yes.
So how does the money get raised exactly?
Look, we raise funds by selling off logo sponsorships on the jerseys.
Right.
Then each individual rider has to pay $1,000 to be involved, and then they have to raise a minimum of $5,000 each individually. A number of the riders have actually raised over $20,000 personally this year. So, yeah, look, it's both a corporate and an individual experience.
And where does the money go?
To a range of different children's charities. They're all different children's charities. Starlight Children's Foundation this year and the Monash Neonatal Intensive Care Unit. And we really like to try and target buying individual tangible pieces of equipment along the way, so people can see where the money's actually gone rather than just into a central treasury function.
Berrick Wilson, all the best with it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Now, dairy farmers are warning that aggressive price discounting could force many producers out of the industry.
A Senate inquiry is now examining the impact of the milk price cuts by Coles and Woolworths. For more, Tony Nichols joins us now from a dairy farm in Yanathan in eastern Victoria. Tony, what's happening there?
Well, good morning, Virginia. Victoria presents or produces 60% of Australia's milk. Now, that equates to about 5,000 litres per cow per year. Now, here in Yanathan in West Gippsland, we're at a concern that runs 450 head of cattle. Now, they're herringbone cattle, and they produce about 2.8 million litres worth of milk a year. Now, they're doing so at just 40 cents a litre, so a lot of work for a very slim margin. Now, they're running an automatic cups off system here, so the cups are coming off automatically, but they're applied manually, and there's a team of just 3 people running this big herd. Now, dairy farmer Noel Campbell is going to give us a little bit of a tour. And Noel, do you have a minute? Now, just 3 people, as I mentioned, running this herd. Now, the average herd in Victoria is 200, so this is quite a large concern. Now, Noel, tell us about your operation here.
Good morning, Tony. Our operation here, we milk, as you said, 450 cows, milk twice a day. Automatic cup removers, they're fed about 4 kilos of grain a day.
Okay, now what do you think about this Senate inquiry? How important is it for your industry?
It's extremely important. I think that it devalues the whole dairy chain. Certainly in Victoria at the moment it won't have an immediate effect, but certainly milk at $1 a litre is not sustainable.
And what do you think of Coles and Woolworths making this price push at the moment?
Well, I guess it's follow the leader. Coles started it, but the reality is all the others are going to obviously match it. We don't believe it's sustainable, and in probably New South Wales, Queensland and Western Australia, there'll be farmers that won't survive if they renegotiate contracts in the next 18 months.
You know, it's a big concern nationally, of course, but it's a different story really for people like you in Victoria. Your business model's different and you rely a lot on exporting.
about 50 to 60% of Victoria's milk goes to export. Commodity prices at the moment are quite strong, albeit the dollar being high is not helpful, but I guess our situation at the moment is okay.
Okay, and what sort of recommendations would you like to see out of the Senate inquiry?
I think the reality is we'd like the general public to know that we can't sustain milk at $1 a litre. I think it's quite important that people understand that. It's obviously good for consumers, but the reality is consumers want milk into the future, and the reality is at $1 a litre we can't do that.
Okay, Noel, well, thanks for having this morning. A lot of work here. I'll let you get back to it.
Thanks very much, Tony.
Okay. Noel Campbell there. Well, Coles will make its submission to the Senate inquiry later this month.
Tony, thanks so much. Good to see you there. And I think you should, if there's only 3 running that dairy farm, I think you should roll up your sleeves and lend a hand a bit there, mate.
Now, we can bring you some news coming in this morning regarding concerns over drug rings at naval bases. The Defence Force is telling us that investigators have raided sailors' quarters at HMAS Cairns about concerns about drug use. A Defence Force spokeswoman says the search for prohibited substances took place late last week and the matter is still under investigation.
And if you twin this, of course, with the suspected drug ring that the authorities have believe that they've identified and busted there at Garden Island, involving the ships that come in and out there, that's a bit of a problem for the Defence Force. And you've seen Stephen Smith, the Defence Minister, on this program and elsewhere, with a mouth at 7:20. You know that particular look that he gets, this one, like I want to kill someone, trying to keep his usually very calm demeanour still in check. Well, this is going to make him even angrier.
Clearly over it. Now let's listen to Vanessa O'Hanlon with an update with the weather. Vanessa.
Thanks, Michael. First off, Queensland, where severe warnings for flash flooding continue along the Gulf of Carpentaria coast, south of Weipa to the Northern Territory border, and also for remaining parts of the Gulf country, that's southwest of Normanton. Now, the rain on the radar up around the Gulf country is forecast to extend inland today into the southern parts of the Gulf country, that's southwest of Normanton. Now, we also have rain that's falling around the North Tropical coast. Up to 130 millimetres has fallen again last night at Mission Beach. More rain is likely from late tomorrow. Monday, rain areas will see possibly heavy rain at times as far south as the Capricornia, so that rain will become much more isolated as we head into next week. A windier day for Queensland's east today with isolated showers and storms. We can expect a warm and humid day in New South Wales with isolated showers and thunderstorms. 24 degrees the expected top in Sydney. Also a humid day in Victoria with isolated showers and storms mostly up in the northeast. Warmer northerly winds will develop across the state. In Tasmania, a bit foggy this morning, but that should clear to a sunny day with isolated showers in the north. Currently it's 21 degrees, or I'm heading for a top of 21 degrees in Hobart. Warm northerly winds will develop over South Australia, seeing isolated showers and storms in the north, but mostly around Flinders. In Western Australia, some cooler weather for the southwest with light showers, but hot conditions over the interior. 34 for Kalgoorlie. Windier with heavy rain and storms about the Kimberley. Showers and storms for most of the Northern Territory for the weekend, and we can expect a mainly fine and warm day in Hobart, a top of 25 degrees tomorrow. Mostly sunny in Adelaide, hot as well tomorrow, 31 degrees. Perth, mostly sunny conditions, 29 tomorrow, top of 32 in Perth on Sunday. And for Darwin, showers and storms with a top of 30 degrees, Virginia.
Vanessa, thanks so much. Now, still ahead on ABC News Breakfast, Christine Milne from the Green